Chicago, like most big cities, has its fair share of unsolved crime. And in most of these cases, somebody saw or heard something. It could be a suspicious person, a car driving away from the scene, or simply overhearing somebody talking about the case. With your help, we can put these criminals behind bars where they belong. Here in Chicago, we have too many unsolved murders. We need your help. In these cases, the police department is only as strong as the citizens that get involved. Oftentimes, all the detectives need is a tip, a start. Somebody to call in and say, I saw something. Any little information that you know can be the impetus to solve the entire case. On tonight's episode, we'll be featuring the case of 20-year-old Tina Wilkerson. On August 15th, 1995, Tina Wilkerson, a considerate friend and daughter, was driving around town when her car suddenly broke down. Her friends tried to get the car running again but were unsuccessful. Tina decided to walk to a nearby gas station. The next morning, she was found in a nearby field with multiple stab wounds. Here's her story.
Tina was a really good baby. She liked to play, holding her. She loved to be held.
It was always like the little rascals in the house, 24/7. Always joking, playing, having fun.
She liked everybody. She would go to anybody as she grew up. She had jobs babysitting for other people's kids, and she just loved kids. She was a real people person.
Tina and I are very close in age. We've always been thick as thieves.
Tina was hilarious. We would walk to school together. We would, go for car rides and stuff like that. 5-6 hour walks just around town and just talk and have fun.
Her main hobbies was singing. She wanted to be a singer. She was powerful. She had some power to her.
She was one of a kind, definitely. More like a rocker, loner. But she had a smile that would light up the room, like, unbelievably. She could turn any bad situation into a wonderful situation.
She was just a very happy person, always laughed, always was considerate of everybody around her.
She'd take forever to put her makeup on and fix her hair. She wouldn't leave the house until it was right.
Never fought, nothing like that. It was always an ongoing relationship with us.
She'd get up, she'd go places, she'd take her cousins, she'd take her cousins with her and everything. They'd just go to the beach, they would just go to parks, they'd just, basically hang out with each other.
I was with her every single day. And whenever me and her would get in trouble together, our punishment from our parents was we were grounded from one another.
They are very well knitted in the way that they're very protective. I remember a time that Tina was up at a bus stop and she had one of the kids that rode the bus with us were being awfully mean, and she kind of threatened to, go tell their mom on them for being so mean. So she was very, I guess, a friend in that aspect.
People would flock to her with their problems and Tina would help them, talk to them, settle them down. They would come over late at night, talk to her on the porch and stuff like that. She was always there for everybody.
She was the one I went to when I had problems. She had an answer for everything.
She came from a pretty good-sized family. Friends we spoke to spoke highly of her. She was actually dating a guy from Lake Station who was murdered in Gary just days before.
When Rich, the guy that she was dating and stuff, whenever he had gotten murdered, she ended up becoming a different person. Her mindset wasn't there. Her emotions was conflicted toward all of us, where she just wanted everybody to stay completely away from her because she was hurting so bad inside.
She only let certain people in her life. That's why with this whole situation, it doesn't make sense because only very few people she let in.
She just wanted to, hurt alone. But I'd never seen that side from Tina, ever.
There's a lot of things she wanted to do, but somebody took her life way too short.
On Tuesday, August 15th, 1995, at approximately 5 o'clock in the morning, the Lake Station Police Department received information of a female possibly deceased laying in a field at Four Winds Park. Officers arrived on scene, located a female nude. She was later identified as Tina Wilkerson, 20 years old, from Lake Station, Indiana, and she had suffered from multiple stab wounds.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case.
On August 14th, 1995, Tina Wilkerson was at the wake of her boyfriend who was murdered in Gary just days before. After attending the wake, family members and friends described her in almost a dazed state, confused, not herself.
There was a dark side to her after her boyfriend had passed. She called me to come over. I went over there and she told me she hated me. It was not her at all. Nobody understood what she was going through. I think that's what makes it so hard today because nobody knows what she was going through.
I was like, hey, Tina, trying to talk to her, are you okay? I couldn't get a look, a glance, an emotion, nothing out of her. And I said, okay, I'm gonna leave you be. And I left. And that's the last time I seen her.
She wanted to go to a party. I happened to be grounded. And for years, I hated my mom because I was like, if I was able to go with her, she wouldn't have been dead.
So she had left the house and she had a curfew of 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock came and she'd never come home. Then I started getting worried. My youngest son, James, and then our neighbor, and me, we were outside all night waiting for her to come in because I was so mad at her for not coming home on time like she was supposed to.
It was later discovered that her vehicle had broken down in Lake Station, and that is when she walked to her friend's house and actually sat and spoke with them for a while. And this is going into the midnight time zone. She had told the people that she was going to the gas station to call for a ride home, and it is unknown if she ever made it to the gas station, and that was the last time anybody had ever seen her alive.
It was, I'd say, like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. My mom wakes me up, and my mom and her mother had went out looking for her.
We received a call at approximately 5 o'clock in the morning in regards to a possible body laying in a field at Four Winds Park in Lake Station. There was a family driving in the park looking for deer early in the morning. It was a family of four, a husband and wife and 2 kids. They actually returned home to put the kids in bed in Portage and called the police from there and met them back at the scene. Our officers arrived on scene and located a nude, young, white female laying in the field close to a row of pine trees. She was deceased on arrival, laying face down in a sort of a fetal position.
I was looking for her car, to see some of the places she might have gone. We was on Marquette Road, and all the police cars were there.
While on scene, a female showed up looking for her missing daughter. They spoke to her at that point, briefly, got a description of her daughter, and then that female left. I think she just seen the police presence, and I'm not even positive at that time she knew of a deceased body in the location.
I talked to, I think it was Jim Strine. He told me to just go ahead and go home, and he never told me it was Tina at the park.
After they located the body, they immediately contacted the detectives and the supervisors. They taped off the crime scene, and when the detectives arrived, they contacted the Lake County Coroner's Office as well as the Lake County crime scene. She was later identified as Tina Wilkerson, 20 years old, from Lake Station, Indiana, and she had suffered from multiple stab wounds. On Tuesday, August 15, 1995, at approximately 5 o'clock in the morning, the Lake Station Police Department received information of a female possibly deceased laying in a field at Four Winds Park. She was later identified as Tina Wilkerson, 20 years old, from Lake Station, Indiana, and she had suffered from multiple stab wounds.
My brother was the chief of police at Portage at the time. He identified her, and he was at my house too, and I kept saying, no, I didn't even want to say it was her. But of course it was.
A couple hours later, my mom woke me to tell me that they had found her murdered.
I collapsed because I couldn't take the emotion of it. Everybody was just a nervous wreck.
I still could not believe it. I think, no, these people are nuts. She's going to be walking in pretty soon,
The fashion she was murdered, none of it makes sense.
She was found nude, several stab wounds. There was no article of clothing discovered anywhere near the crime scene, around the crime scene. There was not a large amount of blood on the crime scene, so it appears to us that the crime took place somewhere else and maybe Tina was brought to that location.
I kind of stayed in my house for a little over a day because I couldn't physically leave my room. It was just too much.
Why? It doesn't make no sense. Why would somebody do it to somebody that didn't do anything? And now here we are 21 years later and still nothing.
I hated everybody. I don't care who you were. I don't care if I didn't know you. I still hated you because you were alive. I don't think I even left my house for about 3 or 4 months. I didn't go nowhere. I didn't talk to people.
Four Winds Park, it's located on Marquette Road, which runs parallel to Central Avenue, our main road through town. It's separated by railroad tracks, and the park is located on the north side of the railroad tracks. It's in the area of Grand Boulevard Lake. Four Winds Park and Lake Station, also known as the Senior League Field. As you can see, there's a roadway here that goes straight back to that area of pine trees back there is actually where Tina's body was discovered. This roadway was gravel and dirt back then, and it was guided by wooden posts with metal wires going through it. The original Senior League Field is over here, and that was here back in 1995. This entire area was covered in flat grass in 95, where we've had a lot of construction since then, so it's overgrown and it's actually harder to access now. In 95, when we got the call, officers arrived on scene. They taped off the entire park, called out the coroner's office, the Lake County crime scene team, and they canvassed the entire park looking for any type of evidence. You could see where her body was discovered. There was lack of blood. Not a lot of blood was found. So it appears that Tina's body was left here, that the crime most likely did not occur in this location.
Oh, I knew something was wrong because at the funeral she wasn't acting right. I do remember one man that came up to her, whispered in her ear, and we left after that. And she had all this talk about a party that she needed to go to. She wouldn't tell me whose party it was or what was going on.
There's such sadness There's so much hurt in the family, like to this day.
It took a lot of emotion out of me, her death did. Every day I still think about her, you know, and I still go to her gravesite and I still, you know, it's just constant memories.
I don't go anywhere. I'm always looking behind my shoulder. I'm very overprotective with my children because of it, because we don't know who killed her. They could be watching every day. You know, they could be coming in and out of my house. I don't know. So I live my life in fear until whoever killed her is found.
I pulled back from everybody and everything, even my other kids.
Each one of them suffered in their own ways, and I think it pulled them apart a little bit, especially with Aunt Janet, it being her only daughter, because it tore her down so much.
Her brothers, they won't even discuss her death.
You don't ever actually get over it. You learn to live with it.
We've had very few leads come in as far as suspects. We have followed up on every lead we have received. No results at this point has led us to a viable suspect in the case.
I've had all kinds of people, this one did it, that one did it, we don't know, blah, 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 you know, but at the start, if someone would have told me if I owned a gun, I'd have probably shot him, but I know better. You know, you can't do that. I'd had 100 people dead by now.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case.
On Tuesday, August 15, 1995, at approximately 5 o'clock in the morning, the Lake Station Police Department received information of a female possibly deceased laying in a field at Four Winds Park. Officers arrived on scene, located a female. She was later identified as Tina Wilkerson, 20 years old, from Lake Station, Indiana, and she had suffered from multiple stab wounds.
The people in our family are really not happy about what happened with her and how long it's been, you know, her death being unsolved.
I know there's people that know exactly what happened. I know there is.
How could they live with themselves? Whoever did this, how could they live with themselves? There was no rhyme or reason for what was done to her.
Tina was only 20 years old when this happened. I'm hoping that we can get some kind of lead to get closure. This family's been waiting for closure since 1995. It's been long enough.
This just wasn't some heinous crime that just happened. This was a murder in a small town. Somebody knows what happened.
If they know something, they should please tell somebody. Give us closure.
I'm pleading for anybody in the community that might have information on this case to please contact us. This happened in 1995 at a park where children play. This young lady's life was cut short way before it should have been. This was a senseless act, senseless crime.
If we could get some justice, I believe that it would help make the family a lot happier. It would mean a great deal.
Tina's family is a pretty large family in Lake Station, and they have been dealing with this since 1995. The loss of a daughter, the loss of a sister. This family needs closure. It's been way too many years. I'm hoping that somebody out there seen something, may have been in the area. Even if you don't think it's important, the littlest thing might help our case.
It would actually mean a lot, because now these people aren't sitting back watching everybody suffer daily. Who knows, we might know these people, we don't know that. And they might be around us, and they need to be held responsible.
People took life from us.
Turn it over to the Lake Station Police Department, help the family seek the justice that everybody would love to be solved. That's the only way that you're ever gonna help this family move on.
I just wish there would be a way she could tell us who did it. And I pray to God every day. Just give us some sort of sign. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it's gonna happen. She was a young girl, full of life, and taken way too soon.
You don't want to tell a police officer, you don't want to come and tell me. Call me and just let me know. If they did it, if they killed her, I want to know why. I don't know what was the purpose of murdering her like that. You know, stabbing her so many times. What was the purpose of that? That's the hardest part, not knowing. They need to go ahead and turn themselves in. They really do.
In '95, when this happened, there was a baseball diamond there in a small park up front, but it was mainly an open field with rows of pine trees on the outskirts of it. If you can remember anything, driving by the area, in the park, seeing something that was out of place or strange, or just if you remember that day, and any information, vehicles, people walking around, anything that would be helpful to our case, please contact the Lake Station Police Department. Our phone number is 219-962-1186. Ask to speak to Captain Williams or any detective for that case, and give any information you have. People can remain anonymous. You do not have to leave your name, a number. Obviously, if you do, it is better, so we can reach out to you if we have any follow-up questions. But you may remain anonymous.
If you're the one who murdered Tina, or if you know who did, contact the police department. 21 years is a long time.
She's not forgotten. She's thought of daily. She'll always be a part of my life.
We need justice for her. 21 years is way too long, way too long.
The cases featured on tonight's episode remain unsolved, and we need your help. If you have any information on tonight's episode or any of the cases featured on the show, please give the detectives a call. We need our communities to come together so we can take back our streets and make our neighborhoods safe again.